I also want to acknowledge those that have come before us. Amongst us, there's a few former co-secretary generals, and we thank you for paving the way for us to be here and to stand in front of you and say a few words to all of you. Thank you for bringing us together and for reinforcing this year's theme of Stronger Together, not just in our work as activists and allies and supporters, but in recognizing that our diversity is an untapped strength that will always, always set us apart from those that seek to continue our oppression, our persecution, our discrimination, and our erasure.
So true. You know, ILGA World is the World Federation of national and local organizations dedicated to achieving equal rights for lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, and intersex people across the globe. And we have been doing this since 1978. We speak on behalf of more than 1,500 member organizations from 150 countries and territories who are based in our 6 regions: Pan-Africa ILGA, ILGA Oceania, ILGA LAC, Latin America and the Caribbean, ILGA NAC, North America and the Caribbean, ILGA Asia, and of course ILGA-Europe. Where over 600 of our members come from.
Stronger Together. Yeah, that's this year's ILGA-Europe conference theme. And at ILGA World, we've had many victories together as a movement. We've had, also sadly, we are constantly reminded of how much work we need to do for all our people together, for lesbian, for gay, for bisexual, for intersex, for trans, for queer, and all gender diverse and non-binary indigenous identities. Because really, the sad lived realities for us and LGBTI siblings is that we continue to be under attack continuously. And the attacks are getting stronger and stronger every year. Every year, it's why we need to stay together, we need to work together, we need to be aware, to learn, and to be holding each other and our spaces together. We need to be linking our struggles. We need to be finding allies that we have more in common with than what separates us through our struggles. And collectively, we need to be pushing and fighting back together.
And that's our day-to-day existence as a movement. Every day across the world, we are met with a range of diverse attitudes. Some family acceptance, mostly not. Some cultural acceptance, mostly not. Some employment acceptance, mostly rejection. And most times it's dismissive, misgendering, wrong pronouns, online bullying and trolling, and at times absolute violence toward us. So much that we continue to be forced to question the legitimacy of our own lives because of who we are and because who we love. We all know this. There is often a disconnect between our country's obligations towards the United Nations human rights regime and how we are treated as citizens in our own countries. But the tide is slowly turning. We at ILGA World have been leading LGBTIQ activists such as yourselves and their struggles on to so many victories at the UN and around the world in so many different communities, included here in Europe. You are all part of those victories and successes, and you should all celebrate what you have achieved.
Before we mention some of the victories though, there are some dangerous trends out there, and this is a warning that some of the content that we might mention here may act as triggers for individuals who have suffered severe violence. So just a trigger warning. If you feel uncomfortable hearing some of this, please, let us know. Or okay. Around the world, the trends that we have been noticing are still the same, right? There have been attacks through criminalization of same-sex relations. Who we love, who we marry, and who we want to raise a family with, right? there are continuous attacks against our people through discrimination, from social discrimination to employment discrimination to religious and ethnic and national discrimination. It's all there, right? The continuous attacks through hate crimes, through criminal assault, right? As trans women, we are being hunted in parts of the world. As gays, we are targeted for conversion therapy. As lesbians, we are targeted for corrective rape. As intersex family members, we are forced to undergo corrective surgery and refused to have our own right to determine our bodily autonomy, right? And all of these are violent and inhumane atrocities against our family members. There are attacks during pride parades and shutting down pride parades before they even occur. There are attacks through legislature and laws that are being passed, including fake religious freedom legislation, right? And then you add on top of all of this, there's feminism issues, there's race, there's inclusion and exclusion, decolonization, populism and gender theory, right? Yet throughout all of these, we have celebrated as a community some great wins. I mean, from Pan-Africa ILGA, Botswana decriminalized homosexuality, right? From ILGA North America, New York banned conversion therapy on minors. New Jersey required public schools to teach LGBTI and disability-inclusive material. Right? From ILGA Asia, India decriminalized homosexuality and Taiwan legalized marriage equality. From ILGA Latin America and Caribbean, Ecuador legalized marriage equality, and Puerto Rico banned conversion therapy for minors. And of course, from my dearest ILGA Oceania, finally, Australia legalized marriage equality.
Japan has a first openly trans person was elected to a prefectural assembly seat. In the US, the New York State Legislature banned the legal strategy known as the gay transgender panic. In Australia, the Victorian Legislative Council voted to amend legislation to allow trans and gender diverse people to legally change gender. South Africa's Equality Court ruled against the Department of Correctional Services for refusing to allow a transgender inmate from expressing her gender identity. Even here in Europe, so far in 2019, hate speech based on trans identity and expression was banned in one country, third gender option on all official documents allowed in another, updating parental language from mother and father with parent 1 and parent 2 happened. Some evangelical Lutheran, evangelical Reformed churches stepped up and allowed same-sex marriages to be blessed in their churches. And marriage equality and abortion were legislated in Northern Ireland. And Italy elected its first out trans mayor.
And the crown in our achievements as activists, the Human Rights Council in July 2019 voted to renew the mandate for the independent expert on protection against violence and discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity, held by Victor Madrigal Bolos.
We must continue to remind ourselves that we, as a movement, have never asked for anything more. We have never asked for any new rights. We have never tried to put our needs and rights above other citizens. All we are fighting for is the human right to be accepted and treated equally to exist in peace and harmony within our communities, to be who we are, to love who we want, to have exactly the same rights as other citizens, nothing more, nothing less. And in order to do that, we need spaces like ILGA and its regional conferences like here in Prague 2019 with ILGA-Europe, to remind ourselves and our communities of how much we can do if we work together, that we can truly be stronger together. So we thank you, ILGA-Europe, for reminding us of this promise.
Because really, despite everything happening around the world, the continued attacks against us, both Luz and myself and ILGA World believe our future is full of anticipated victories. But we need to hold on to each other. We need to celebrate and embrace our diversity. We need to stay in the ring, even when they tell us the fight is over. Because we should never, ever give up. Not an inch. Not when our lives and the lives of our loved ones depend on our fight. Stronger together. Our diversity is our strength. And all of you, the LGBTI citizens of this ILGA Europe and Central Asia region, and your LGBTIQ siblings around the world, you're all survivors. And we will endure. Make no mistake, we as a movement will not be erased, and we will not be taken out. And the only way we can do it is by staying together and celebrating each other, because we are stronger together. So how do we do it? How do we stay stronger together? Look, think of a rope and its many strands. We find allies and allow them to join our fight as we support theirs. We join ILGA, we join ILGA-Europe and other regions, or any human rights organization in your area, right? Just join and participate. We intersect. Intersectionality is about joining struggles, and movements to achieve common goals. We continue to find the courage to speak our truth, even when you are alone. That's how we stay stronger together, right?
So, let us hear you say it.
Stronger together. Come on now, we want to hear you say it. Say it one more time with pride, with love, and for all those lives taken from us, and for those that paved the way for us to be here in Prague. One more time, with love and pride. One more time, we are
stronger together.
Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great